I certainly hope that my star power can bump this hearing all the way up to C-SPAN 1. America's farms are presently far too dependent on immigrant labor to pick our fruits and vegetables. Now, the obvious answer is for all of us to stop eating fruits and vegetables. Eventually, Americans may consider taking these jobs again. Or maybe that's crazy. Maybe the easier answer is just to have scientists develop vegetables that pick themselves. The genetic engineers over at Fruit of the Loom have made great strides in human fruit hybrids. This is America. I don't want a tomato picked by a Mexican. I want it picked by an American, then sliced by a Guatemalan and served by a Venezuelan in a spa where a Chilean gives me a Brazilian.
I mean, it is funny. There's no question about it, but it is a waste of taxpayer money.
Yeah, for 5 minutes there during a congressional hearing. Of course, that was Stephen Colbert testifying yesterday at that immigration hearing.
Colin Hanna is president of Let Freedom Ring. Colin, thank you for being on the show. So,
good morning.
We're going to try to play both sides here. What was the harm?
Well, it may have been funny, but that's the opposite of what the American public wants. They don't want a Congress that is more entertaining. They want a Congress that's more serious. And, you know, humor is a very tricky tool in politics. And here, I think it's making Congress a joke. I think it's showing a lack of reality, a lack of connection to reality. They can't distinguish between fantasy and reality. It is wrong from so many different angles that it's stupider than you could ever goad somebody into. It's just amazing.
What about from this angle, which is, and many people argue that, look, this brought more attention to this subcommittee hearing. No one would have been watching it. And, of course, Stephen Colbert made the joke that this star power got it propelled to C-SPAN 1 instead of C-SPAN 3. What about bringing some star power to an issue that probably on a Friday afternoon would have gone largely ignored?
It would have gone ignored, and frankly, from the standpoint of the Democratic leadership and Congresswoman Lofgren in particular, it should have gone ignored. She would have been a lot better off. Look, if you are about to make a fool of yourself, you don't want a large audience, you want a small one. You don't want a bank of cameras, you want no cameras. And in fact, I think this is going to vault her into the same kind of ignominious position as Congressman Grayson from Florida. It's just, it's stunning.
So it was Representative Lofgren, Zoe Lofgren from California, who invited him to do it. I haven't heard if she knew it was all going to be a comedy bit or not. But everybody else in there, in the chamber, looked kind of stunned. People are on their Blackberries, you know, what is going on here? Are you concerned about the cost of it? One of those special sessions is about $125,000. So he ate up 5 or 7 minutes of the session.
The cost of it really isn't that great. The stupidity of it is momentous, absolutely monumental.
Well, what about this? And some people arguing this morning that Congress shouldn't be doing in the business of this at all. I mean, back in 2002, Republicans invited Elmo. I mean, this is actually a photo of Elmo at a congressional hearing. And Republicans invited Elmo to come in there and talk about education. Should Congress be in this business at all?
There's nothing the matter with using celebrities. Kevin Costner was also on the Hill within the last day or so. They can legitimately speak out on issues for which, for one reason or another, they're known by the public. I'm just suggesting that this is monumentally stupid to make a joke out of Congress and, in fact, to insult and take an issue that is really approaching tragedy and instead treat it as comedy. It's so counterproductive that you just shake your head in amazement.
Colin, thank you for being with us. By the way, you're in Philadelphia, and that's my desk right behind your head. I'm not kidding.
Go ahead there and clean it, Colin, if you would, for us. Thanks, Colin.
I'll tell you something. It's a little quiet here this morning.
It sure is. It is every morning. Thank you, Colin.
Coming up here on the